Good evening and welcome to Wheelhaus. Tonight will sadly be our last episode of Wheelhaus for the season. With face-to-face classes at SUNY Oswego being canceled, we will no longer be able to put on this show.
We're deeply saddened by these events, but are still excited to bring you all the latest from the sports universe tonight. So let's get right to it.
Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, into Wheelhaus, your home for all things sports. I'm Brian Rudman.
And I'm Riley Kennedy. The coronavirus has hit the world by storm, leaving people with the question with what to do next. Overall, there are over 134,000 cases worldwide. The number of deaths recorded are 4,970. This has left the sports world in shock, with the most recent news being the NCAA men's and women's basketball tournament being canceled.
And with the coronavirus quickly spreading throughout the nation, people across the country, not just in the sports world, are taking action to stay healthy and out of harm's way. John Lawrence reports.
President Trump, in a coronavirus-based address Wednesday, says an antiviral therapy will be available in record time.
These treatments will significantly reduce the impact and reach of the virus.
But in the meantime, be prepared for things like rough days on Wall Street, extensive cleanings of most surfaces, empty shelves in your grocery stores, and travel restrictions from the White House.
You're going to see closing down of venues, schools, large gatherings, because you don't have an option. You're never going to bring the testing up to capacity in time.
The NBA is suspending its season after at least one player tested positive for the disease. Fans attending the Oklahoma City Thunder Utah Jazz game were sent home shortly before tip-off.
I want my fun back. It's like our fun's getting taken away. It's ridiculous.
But other basketball fans, like this one in Atlanta, approve the league's decision.
I think that by eliminating the big crowds is a good move.
Health officials say these steps are necessary to help prevent the coronavirus from spreading even faster.
We're 100,000 ICU beds short. We're probably tens of thousands breathing machines, ventilators short. What are we going to do? I mean, these are real problems, and this is, hours and days count now, not days and weeks.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
The NBA was the first league in sports to respond to the global pandemic, taking early action to keep its players and team personnel healthy.
Yeah, Utah Jazz center Rudy Gobert tested positive for the coronavirus on Wednesday night, making him the first NBA player to test positive for the virus. Seconds before the tip-off between the Jazz and the Thunder, a team doctor ran onto the court to tell officials about Gobert. Teammate Donovan Mitchell also tested positive for the virus, making him the second NBA player. The two teams remained in quarantine after the cancellation of the game, and the fans were sent home.
The NBA suspended its season immediately following the Rudy Gobert update about his positive testing of the coronavirus. The league is suspending games indefinitely until further notice. There are 259 games, roughly 21% left to play this season, and no one knows if or when things will resume. The NBA was the first major sport to suspend play, paving the way for others.
The NCAA has officially canceled the remaining Division I winter and spring championships. These cancellations come as a result of the widespread coronavirus that has become a global pandemic. NCAA President Mark Emmer and the rest of the Board of Governors made the announcement earlier today, after schools such as Duke University suspended its athletics programs and Kansas University suspended athletic travel. Many conferences have also already canceled conference tournaments, and the ACC had even withdrawn all of their schools from athletic events.
Yeah, the NCAA was a little late to the party here, but you take a look at the AP Top 25, you see Kansas at the top, no Michigan. That's a big name that we're going to be missing there from this list. They took a tough loss to Ohio State a couple weeks ago, but this is big because right now in each conference, the outright winner from the regular season is getting awarded the conference championship. But we don't know what's going to happen with the NCAA. They may give it to Kansas. If there's no tournament, they may not award it at all. We don't know. And that's a tough break for a lot of teams because you know in March Madness you're getting a lot of upsets. and it's always exciting. So, some of those teams that, down 10 to 25 range who really had a shot at this, probably going to be upset if they just give it to Kansas.
Yeah, it was definitely a bummer, but it was something that needed to happen. Obviously, like you said, the NCAA was late to the party, NBA paving the way for them, cancellations. But the NCAA, they needed to come out with a statement about questions that answered. We all have questions. How are they going to be answering? You see the spring sports being canceled. Here at Oswego, sports are being canceled. But it was definitely, people have families. You have to look out. It's a pandemic globally. So it just definitely, it's tough because, some of the teams on the bubbles couldn't, make it. But obviously it was something that needed to happen. The NCAA did a great job. So we have mentioned this, but the widespread cancellation of games is unprecedented in sports history. Good or bad, we're all witnessing a benchmark moment in the history books, and the people of Chicago had a first-hand description of what it feels like to have it taken.
Chicago hockey fans trickled out of the Blackhawks game. Word had already spread fast just seconds earlier about the NBA suspending its season.
Better to overreact than to not react enough. The NBA is just like a very big exclamation point to it all.
The Hawks game went on as scheduled with fans still filling the United Center, but there was some consideration for crowds and COVID-19.
I figure the amount of people there is going to be reduced.
Earlier today, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker stressed that state health officials were in close contact with area sports teams about the potential of canceling games.
We are talking to the team owners, where I'm also reaching out to the leagues themselves. We'll be discussing this with the city of Chicago, with the teams and leagues, and making some decisions in the near future.
The NCAA is following suit for its March Madness tournament after tonight. The organization said in a statement the decision is in the best interest of the public health, including that of coaches, administrators, fans, and most importantly, our student athletes.
It's getting serious, and that's actually bad news because I was planning on being out in Vegas for the March Madness.
And in a blow to tradition, Chicago's famed St. Patrick's Day parade won't step off on Saturday. There's just too much risk of spreading COVID-19 through a massive crowd.
We concluded that having a parade at this time posed unnecessary risk to the public's health.
Well, before all that went down, WCC semifinals in college basketball started early. TJ Hawes throwing it up, Gavin Baxter throwing it down. BYU would roll to a 26-20 lead at half over St. Mary's. They would keep going in the second half. Now Cougars up 11. Yoeli Childs going to work, showing off the muscle in the post. Gets the hook shot to go. He was on fire, but St. Mary's would start to fight back. Now down just 5. Jordan Ford going to work, the senior. Dribble, drive, penetration. Circus shot, and the bank is open. Got it to go. Next possession, St. Mary's forcing that turnover now on the fast break. Jordan Ford, the senior, with the silky smooth finish, up and under. He would keep on going. Now up 2. Ford once again, this time a floater from the free throw line. Are you kidding me with that? He had 18 on the night, but BYU would retake the lead. Under 2 minutes to go. They're up 1. Childs once again showing he's not a child right now, showing off his big man skill, working low. BYU up 3. Their fans are pumped. Now down just 1. St. Mary's, 10 seconds to go. Guess who? Ford. Was there ever any doubt? Gets it to go. 51-50 the final. St. Mary's over BYU. What a game. They would go on to lose to Gonzaga in the final, but still really entertaining game to finish that one off. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll talk some U.S. women's soccer and an update in Laker sports. Don't go anywhere. You're in the Wheelhouse.
Welcome back to Wheelhouse. The USA women's national soccer team wore their warm-up jerseys inside out last night before their game against Japan. Players hid the USSF crest on their jersey, but allowed the 4 stars for each World Cup title to be shown. The USSF submitted legal papers this week claiming that the women are less skilled and have less demanding roles than the men's national team. USA went on to defeat Japan 3-1.
Well, let's take a look at some NBA action. Nets visiting the Lakers in the Staples Center. Start in the first. DeAndre Jordan bringing back Lob City to LA. Later in the first half, Dinwiddie taking it himself. Didn't get the dunk, but got the friendly roll. Now, just before the half, the King getting on the ground and doing the dirty work. Avery Bradley to Kyle Kuzma, showing why the Lakers are so dynamic in transition. Such a good play. We may be seeing it later in the show. Lakers went into the half up by 2. Now we'll be in the third coming up. Nets showing their skill in transition. Joe Harris to Karis LeVert. for the slam. What a play right there. Now, less than a minute to go. Lakers down 3. LeBron to AD. Cash money from 3. Hold that post. We're all tied up. 42 seconds to go. We'll head to a timeout. Nets going to get their chance to take the lead now. Dinwiddie himself. He's driving. Pulls up. Fade away. No doubt about it. Nets are hyped. They're up 2 with 28.4 seconds to go. But they got to remember, they still got to play defense one more time. Now 5 seconds left. Inbound to LeBron. 4-3. Passes it to AD. Can he do it again? No, he cannot. Nets hold on. 104-102. What a game. Dinwiddie, 23 points on the game.
What a game, what a game. From Lakers to Indiana, the Boston Celtics versus the Players. Gordon Hayward gets it started off from the top of the key. Next possession, you have Tatum with a slam past midcourt to get it going. Tatum, next possession, hits the 3. Perfect screen by Cantor to get it going. Smart with the drive. Gordon Hayward wide open in the corner. Beautiful stroke. Money on that shot. Next possession, we have Marcus Smart taking Sabonis. Little hezzy step back. Boom. Gets it heavily contested. Jason Tatum with the drive and up to Gordon Hayward. Well, I wish he dunked it, but put it in. And Oladipo with it. Is that a foul? He still got the 3. Next possession, hits a 3 again. Oladipo, the Pacers are going crazy. Oladipo loves it. Oladipo again with the drive. Sabonis somehow gets it. Hits it into corner to Warren. Tie game 104-104. Marcus Smart trying to be the man for the Celtics. Gets it off the glass with the left hand. Will the Pacers tie this up? Holiday trying to be the man. No good. Smart with the rebound. Celtics win 114-111. What a great game.
Yeah, what a game. Celtics clinching a playoff spot there with that win. Now taking a look now a bit closer to home as we've still had a busy week in Oswego State sports. Starting off, the biggest news out of the week was the cancellation of the baseball team's annual spring break trip. The team was scheduled to play 6 games in South Carolina starting tomorrow. However, all of their games were canceled. Then, just before our show started today, President of the university, Deborah Stanley, announced that all athletic events have been canceled. In other news, the Oswego State Lakers hockey player Michael Gillespie has signed a professional contract with the Worcester Railers of the ECHL. The senior scored 74 points across his 3 seasons in the green and gold. Finally, the men's lacrosse team suffered their first loss on the season at the hands of Clarkson by a score of 15-5 on Tuesday night in what appears to now be the last game that we're going to see from the Lakers in the 2019-2020 academic year.
Yes.
So, big week in Lakers sports. Biggest thing, we didn't talk about it there, but this Oswego State men's hockey team that Michael Gillespie played for lost 4-1 to Geneseo last week in that SUNYAC final. A heartbreaking loss for that team, obviously. And now we're going to take a look. Speaking of hockey, let's take a look at some NHL action. Islanders visiting the Canucks. Started off this one early, just a minute and a half in. Letty from the blue line to Josh Bailey. One-timer snipes it home. Islanders up early. 1-0 wouldn't last long. Just 20 seconds later, Canucks in the offensive zone. And it's going to be Edler throwing it on net. And Gaudette puts it in. We're all tied up. Jump to the second period now. 3-2. Vancouver, but Brock Nelson has something to say about that. Beats Demko with the backhand. We're all tied up at 3 apiece, but once again, Vancouver answers right back. Textbook power play now as they're on the power play, tape-to-tape passing all the way through, and Bo Horvat just finishing it off right in front of goal. 4-3 Canucks, and that's how we head into the third. Now, 5 minutes into the period, clock ticking down on this Isles penalty. But look at them, they finally get a chance, and Brock Nelson puts in his second on the game, tying it up at 4. That's how we'd head into overtime. We'd head into a shootout too. Second round now. JT Miller waiting, being patient, finally pulls the trigger and gets it past Varlamov on the glove side. His team's up 1-0 now. Isles have their last chance now coming up, but Ladd puts it wide. Last chance, couldn't get it. Canucks win it 5-4.
Yes, great game. Coming up, what does the future hold for sports and our senior send-off? And of course, the best plays of the night you won't want to miss out. Coming up next on Wheelhaus.
And welcome back to Wheelhaus. We've talked a lot tonight about what's been going on in the sports universe with the coronavirus. And let's now take a look at the state of the sports universe right now.
Yeah, the NBA has canceled. Adam Silver just released that it will be 30 days at least until the NBA starts going. Obviously, with the NCAA basketball, all NCAA sports are canceled. The NBA, as obviously Adam Silver comes out saying 30 days. You have the MLB, who has suspended spring training and has pushed back the start of their season to 2 weeks. What do you think about that, Brian?
Well, baseball, to start with the MLB, it's a huge deal because you're suspending the preseason and then canceling the first 2 weeks. So fans need to keep in mind that they are going to give them a chance to get back. Whether it'll probably be back in their home stadiums. They probably won't be back down in Florida or Arizona, respectively. But at this point, I'd expect it to be more than just 2 weeks into the regular season before we see actual competition again. But going back to that NBA, right now you talk about 30 days and you're looking at the middle of April. That's when playoff season starts, and you look at where things stand in the East. Right now it's the Bucks, Raptors, and Celtics, and in the West it's really just the Lakers and Clippers holding up the top. So that'll be interesting to see how those teams bounce back and who has a strong chance when you look at what's going to be happening going forward.
Right, and you don't know if we go straight to the NBA, do we go straight to a playoffs? Obviously you said the top teams. We don't know if do we go straight to a playoffs. We don't know how long the MLB. We don't know that if all sports will be canceled. You know, it's a global pandemic. This is obviously, we've never seen this before.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the PGA actually just announced, PGA Golf, they just canceled the Players' Champion. That's the first major of the year. So that's a big deal. Now it's pretty much all major sports are canceled for the time being. Let's take a look for now at the top 10 plays for the week. Let's get it going. Starting with number 10. Let's get some basketball. Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers. He's just a beast in the paint, making a fool out of the defender. Man, the claw just can't be stopped. Clippers would win 131-107.
On to number 9, Bulls versus Cavs. Dellavedova picks up the loose ball and sends it ahead to Colin Sexton with a slam. Good slam for the young fellow.
Number 8, little basketball still. Knicks and Hawks. Mitchell Robinson throwing it down. That's the second time we've seen him do something like that all week. Look at the elevation. What a beast getting up, showing off the athleticism.
You like that? Well, check out number 7, Brooklyn Nets versus the Lakers. A lot of highlights from this tonight. We have Spencer Dinwiddie driving into the key and throws it up top for the big fellow, DeAndre Jordan. Please go reach that big fella. Great dunk by the big guy.
Yeah, you know, number 6, we've seen a lot of dunks so far on this playlist. Well, let's see some range. Trae Young, he can hit from anywhere. He's got that Steph Curry range. Another one, this one from the logo. No doubt about it, Drano. He is ice cold. What a play.
Cold-blooded, number 5, back to LA. Dinwiddie this time, no passing, dunks it. He said, come here, AD, don't jump with me. Do not jump with me, AD. I love it from Spencer Dinwiddie.
And number 4, a play so nice, we're going to have to see it twice. Lakers in transition coming up. You see LeBron getting the steal. I think we've seen this play before. It looks familiar. Kyle Kuzma throwing it down, showing off the athleticism and how good the Lakers are. They went on to win, like we said, 104-102.
Number 3, a little college hoops battle out in the West. Oregon State trying to beat Utah. You have Gerard Lucas from the corner who gets it going for Oregon State. Catch and shoot Hall of Fame for all you 2K lovers out there. In the corner, Oregon State wins the game.
Number 2, let's see one more dunk. Why don't we? Mike Scott puts Kyrie Thomas on a poster. You'll be seeing that one in a kid's bedroom sometime soon. Look at him get up. No need to take a charge there. You got no shot, Thomas. The team loves it. Scott, absolute highlight reel. What a play right there.
And the number 1 play of the night. As the NBA says goodbye, Vinsanity says goodbye. The wide open 3 to end it. Vince Carter hits the 3 to wrap up his amazing 22-year career. Trae Young loves to see the old guy doing it.
Yeah, what a play. Well, we're going to go to break, but when we come back, it won't be Riley and I on the desk. Instead, our executive producers and creators of Wheelhaus will come on the desk and say goodbye. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Wheelhaus.
All right, welcome back to Wheelhaus. I'm Dan Corlett.
And I'm Alex Lance-Geffra.
We're the creators of Wheelhaus, and since Oswego is suspending classes, we thought that we would take this final chance to spend a moment and say goodbye formally. Bear with me, I've been a little leaky this week, so I want to first and foremost say that WTOP is one of the best decisions I've ever made. These people in this place have marked themselves in the deepest parts of my heart, and I couldn't forget them if I wanted to. I've done a lot of memorable things in my life so far, but WTOP has staked a claim of most of those fond memories, and I'm just going to start thanking people now. To my dad, Stephen, who set these roots and inspirations for broadcasting in me. Thank you for encouraging me. To Amy, my mom, you're so strong and have always worked with and against me sometimes to make me work and make me find the best part of me. To my sister Libby, you're smart and you're driven. I love you. Don't seek your worth in anyone but you and your work. To Connie and Paul. To Connie and Paul, my grandparents, who loved me before I was a thought. I cannot fathom a world where this happens without either of you. I have had such a trip through winding roads and valleys and hills, but when I crossed that line, I hope you all know I did this to make you proud of me, and I wish I could share more with you all through the weeks and these stories and adventures, but this is how this door closes, and I love you, WTOP. Tim, I love you. You've made me a better broadcaster and a better person. Mute my mic.
So today has been a really strange day for me. I've been working with TOP since I first arrived at Oswego a year and a half ago, and honestly, I've learned so much since. The thought of producing a show really wasn't one that crossed my mind when I first arrived here. I didn't have experience as a producer. My broadcasting career to that point had been working crew for live sports and in studio productions. Last year, I worked as a sports production assistant here, which suited me because I had prior crew experience. It also taught me a lot and broadened my skill sets. It familiarized me with our lineup of sports original productions as well. Being in the WTOP office, studio, and control room this past year and a half, it really helped me to learn more of the intricacies of production. And working with Dan this past year has made me a better broadcaster and a better man. I would be remiss if I didn't take a minute to thank you for your role in my development.
Don't. You see I'm going through something, man.
I also want to thank our anchors, Riley Kennedy, Brian Rudman, James Catato, Michael Morano, Luke Owens, and Matt Walling. I also want to thank our crew, led by Anthony Citron and Chris Sanudo, who have been there from the start. This isn't the way any of us wanted this to end, but I'm so grateful for the experience that has been producing this show. I'm also incredibly grateful for my parents, Val and Steve, for instilling the drive within me to do what I've done, and for your unwavering support. I love you both from the bottom of my heart.
We're good at TV. I'm sorry, I didn't really cry that bad. All right, thank you for watching all of WTOP's productions this year. We're the best student-run TV station in the nation. That's not a question. That's at you, Syracuse and Ithaca. Roll the break, go to bump. I cannot be on camera anymore. I love you all. Goodbye.
Oh my God, God bless.